welcome everybody. So this is actually one of the our last events of amberNetworkFestival 2021. And yeah, Amber Festival had a distributed, collectively created festival, took place in many different places with network partners, including New Media Society Tehran, DAH Project Shiraz, KounAktif Casablanca, BAAB Khartoum, Shahraban from Baalbek, Bishkek Contemporary from Bishkek, Darağaç, İzmir, amberPlatform, İstanbul. Did I miss anyone? No, okay. And so it was a collectively created festival, as I mentioned at the beginning. So we had over 80 events in this festival. All the content came from different geographies, different cultures, different places, different groups. So now thanks to Mohsen and Milad, now we are learning the art scene in United Arab Emirates. So we are knowing you, Bait15, and maybe in the next festival, you will be one of the networks and creators, collective creators of the festival.
Inshallah, I hope so.
Me too.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you,
Akmal, for the introduction, and thank you, Mohsen and Milad. I actually met Milad and Mohsen, like, I don't know how, on this virtual platform. And we've been like in touch, and I came to learn about Dar al Hikmat, their platform. They've been running for quite some time, and it's quite interesting to see like a festival like this and be part of it, to connect and see what's happening within the same region. So today I would like to present to you Bait15, and maybe if you have any questions at any point, just stop me and ask me. So Bait15 is an artist run in a studio space and a gallery space located in downtown Abu Dhabi. Started in 2017, and eventually we opened our space to the public in 2018. And we started as 5 members, and as time progressed, 2 members left. We were 3 for quite some time, and now we became 4. And actually, I will walk you through. We prepared a slide. So the house where Bait15 is hosted right now, it's an old house that has history of a late Emirati filmmaker who lived in that house, then passed away. Then the house was occupied by another artist and a poet from UAE who's currently in Cairo doing a residency and studying filmmaking. And then we came on board as Bait15, and we took that space and tried to engage with the community. So the space consists of like 4 artist studios, 1 residency studio, and 1 library, and a multifunctional space that can host art shows, film screening, music, and workshops. What else? We use it sometimes for production, for our work. It's a huge space that we can convert it into a gallery space. And then also an outdoor yard. And recently, we just to give names, so we started 5 members. It was myself, Maytha Abdallah, Afra Al-Dhahri, Chris Mortison, and Tony Bragg. Later we became 3, Afra, Maytha, myself, and recently Zuhur joined us. And Zuhur is a textile artist who recently graduated with a degree in fiber. And she introduced this idea of occupying the garden to plant trees and different flowers that she can use for dyeing and do workshops. So this is where the outdoor part comes. Um, so the gallery space, this is actually in my studio. Like a couple of years ago, we had a show with Art Abu Dhabi where we hosted, the collectors and the different programming around the show in Bait15. This is also this is our gallery space. This is the first show we did, and it's all of the artists from within the community. We try to suggest different artists and try to curate a show together as members. Also, we worked with a family. This was another project we did. A family that consists of, I believe, 13 family members with one guest, and they're not necessarily like artists in the let's say professional way that we know what art making is and like seeking that, but they're actually just family members who decided to take a ceramic workshop together and produce artworks. And it was like, this is the show that we did during the art fair in 2018. And the idea was, yes, whatever happening is in the art fair is quote unquote like the market and the industry and stuff, but also there are artists who genuinely just want to create and make and not to be involved in the whole art market and art fair discussion. So we hosted that in the space. And the title of the show was Bait Jum'a, and that family is Jum'a family. So Bait means a house, and it was hosted at Bait15. And as you can see, that's when we used to have like open, no social distancing and all of that. Later on, you see in the next slide where the space is transformed into like a giant canvas. And that's when I was working on a show last year, like last March. And I used the entire gallery space to kind of like build this canvas that responds to the architecture of this space. So when you see the work outside, you can see at the top where there is a cut, which makes it like questionable, but it is like responding to the space where this painting was conceived. Similarly, my colleague Afra also had recently a show where she used the space to also kind of like study her work before like leaves and goes to the actual venue. And later on, Ametha is preparing for a show that is gonna open, inshallah, if COVID, like everything happens soon. So this is right now, this is what you see if you come to Bait15. And then this is what I was telling you about Zuhur's interest with dyeing and creating natural dyes. So they are, testing different things with like different community member. Here are some of the plants that they are growing and doing, the different natural dyes. And, these are just samples. This is our office where like you can say it's a library and like where our discussions and meetings happen. But what's interesting about this library is actually being donated by the community. So we have a lot of people who come and just add to our library, and the library keeps growing with us as we move forward, because it's something that the community and a lot of furniture and things that you see in the house is donated by a lot of people who support the initiative and believe in us. So yeah, so there is stuff like that that's happening. And then we also we started grouping the books into like sub themes and dividing them, categorizing them. And we hopefully in the future, when we get a little bit of budget or something, and transform this into a digital format and have this accessible to the world, like all of these books, being accessible to people outside of Abu Dhabi and outside of the region who are interested in learning more about what is happening in the scene. Because one thing, the big chunk of the donation came actually from the previous tenant, Mohammed Al Mazroui, who was a poet and an artist. And the good thing, he actually almost documented unintentionally the period of the cultural evolution that took place in the UAE, because he was going to all of these shows and collecting catalogs. So we have a lot of exhibition catalogs that we don't have access to those shows anymore. So we'd like to bring that also to being accessible more to the public. So this is about the library. You can see different installed shots. This is a painting. Also part of our initiative is we're trying to build a collection of artworks. And it started by a simple coincidence where one of the pioneer painters currently in UAE, Mohammed Ahmed Ibrahim, who's actually representing UAE in Venice next year, had a phase in the 80s where he was unfortunately kicked out of his studio space in Khorfakkan, and he rented a truck. He packed all of his paintings and kept driving for hours, and finally he just went to the mountains and burned all of the paintings except for a few. And this is one of the paintings that survived the burn, and we have it in Bait15 as one of our collection. And we inherited it from Mohammed Al Mazroui, who was the previous tenant. So he gifted it to us and we'll take care of it. And this painting kind of started a whole series of acquiring and collecting works from the community for Bait15. So we started, this is a very young painter who just graduated, Ali Al-Awadi. And this is and she's one of an active member who comes to Bait15. This is a painting of our chill room, or of this space, this is the painting. So it's inspired by it. And oops, sorry, where did I go? Sorry. There is a slide that I missed, maybe. Yeah, that's strange. The slide about her work disappeared. Yeah. So yeah, we're doing also part of what we're doing, the collection of artworks and building that. Over the past, from 2018 till 2021, we had resident artists who come and join us, and work. And it's idea of trying to keep this I don't want to use, trying to bring new blood and fresh blood to the space. And we've had Laura Schneider, American artist, who stayed with us and produced work. Susan Doe, also American artist who stayed with us. Lena and David, they're from Colombia. They came during Art Dubai, and Art Dubai placed them in Bait15 as a resident, and they produced work. Afra Suwaidi is another artist who did a residency. Ahmed Bouhlega. Tara Deghafer is a Saudi artist who's focusing on sound. And then recently Zuhur was a resident, but eventually we asked her to join us as a member because she's from Abu Dhabi, and the rest are actually were coming to spend some time. And here you have two works that actually were produced in Bait15, but went to like different spaces. This is Susan Doe. She does a lot of knitting of domestic objects. These are traditional plastic sheets that are used to for dining. When we eat, like in the culture here, people eat on the floor, and there is like these rolls or plastic rolls, disposable. So she buys those in like big quantities and like weaves them. These are like huge sculptures that you can actually inhabit. And then David and Lena, they were like kind of interested in like mapping like watersheds and like going to Musaffah, the industrial area, and using a lot of tools that they can buy from the industrial area, and then bringing that to their practice. Also, this is when Zuhur was a resident, and she does a lot of textile and natural dyeing and all of that. So you can see her testing different dyes. And then we recently got a satellite space. It's the ex-Louvre Abu Dhabi construction site. So this is where I mean, maybe the picture just shows indoor, but actually if you step out, you can see the museum. And this construction site was actually where all of the architectural meetings and engineers happening when the museum was getting built. And obviously when the project was completed, all of the team was asked to, like, they moved to another project, so this structure remained empty. And we recently got it in the beginning of the pandemic last year, but we couldn't do anything because, I mean, there is a lockdown and all of that. So we slowly like moved, but it's still not really occupied in that way. And then finally, this is my last slide. This is the four of us. The first one, Afra in her solo, Zuhur, myself, and Maytha Abdallah. And this is Bait15. This is what we do. And I don't know if you have any questions, please go ahead and ask, or let me know. Yeah. I can hear, yes.
So thank you so much, Ashel. We learn more about the Bait15, and as I know about your work, you are more focused on painting, and sometimes you do some installations, and recently you did some videos that I know about the video because we have a collaborative project in this festival actually. And I want to ask you, because you had some new part as a most active art fair in the Middle East. We know about the Art Dubai, and you had some new parts, I think, in new section in the Art Dubai 2021, maybe the video program. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Could you please some more information, or maybe maybe they want to join the maybe technology artworks movement, or maybe contemporary art who are working with technology, or make with technology. Maybe you can help us to know about the maybe future of contemporary art in United Arab Emirates.
Yeah, that's a very good question. I wish I can answer what is the future of what is the contemporary art going to be like, but I think
because you are the new generation of the contemporary artists in UAE.
Yes, but also it's quite, to me, I think it's unpredictable in what way it's moving, because it's so diverse in terms of like the practices, even just like the four of us as a collective. Everyone has their own like separate line or like topics and interest with work. So there isn't like a specific any direction I can say. I can tell you about myself and about my practice. I'm very I'm classically I'm trained in painting, but in my nature I'm very curious with mediums and different textures. So often my work like cross like experimental installations or like digital work, but still like heavily with painting. um and I look at paintings, or like my work is beyond just the canvas itself. I address the wall, I address the sound, I address the light, I address the texture of the floor. Like, so I'm trying to create like these different like worlds or like worlds that exist in my head and bring them out to an actual space, and have this year, not the one before, the one before. So what's that? 2019. That was the first time where the art fair like gives space for non-profit or non-profit organized like organizations or artist-run initiatives, and kind of highlight a segment of the fair for that. And luckily, Bait15 was given the space to host all of the programming of the fair and do all of the workshops and things, and some of the online platforms that exist actually had their first physical appearance. We saw people that we didn't know who's behind these accounts or things. And then the next year was supposed to open to GCC now. So the first one was just UAE, and then was supposed to go for GCC. But obviously COVID happened, so the fair was canceled. And then this year they didn't revisit. But I think, as you mentioned, like this festival or like initiatives that are happening, whether on the government scale or, you know, the individual, like us, Milad and I, coming together. We're talking about video work. We're talking about carpet making in Iran, and things that actually connect us. And I think this is the way to go. Just finding ways to connect with other human beings. And there is the top part that is happening, and there is also us just living our daily lives and just work on that. And I think it's it's everywhere. It's happening at like in everywhere, like different scales and different things.
Cool, thank you.
Yes. So I see we are running out of time. I think there are like 3 minutes. I just want to thank you all for this humble invitation. I'm really honored to be here. I'm honored to also participate in the exhibition. And unfortunately, I can't meet all of the participants in the fair, but my message from myself and from other Bait15 members, we are open. Please reach out to us if you have any ideas. We'd like to collaborate with other institutions. Today, when I was talking to the team before joining, I told them, guys, congratulations. This is the first time we are actually reaching out to audience outside of UAE. It's always been, within our community. And this is, just shows that we are on the right path, and we're working towards, connecting and sharing and being accessible.
I thank you. We thank you too. I mean, we are very happy to connecting with you and my art scene.
Yes.
And thanks, Mohsen and Milad.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing these great things with us. Yeah. We know more about the Bait15, about the atmosphere that are here that are there in UAE, and it's really amazing. And thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you so much.
We'll meet very soon. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.